welcome back to the Scenic Route Astrology. Makayla here, and today we're going to talk about the Gemini full moon that happened on December 18th, Saturday at 11:34 p.m. I do apologize that my video is about a day late. It was a very busy and crazy week, but it's okay because sometimes it's better to have a hindsight perspective around the astrological weather if it was a few days, past what the transit. And sometimes we really can't understand what the transit is about until after we've been through it. So for this video, this full moon, it's going to be that type of perspective. And and I think that this is a really beautiful way to end 2021. It's definitely important energy, like it usually is, but this one in particular felt like a really big life directing type of release. While we're sitting in this aftermath of the full moon energy, it's definitely a good time to start asking yourself questions around the beliefs that you have now established for yourself up until this point in your life. We've all collectively been through a lot of changes. We've seen all these changes happening around us in our families and our friends and the government and the way that society is choosing to move into a new way of living. I think a lot of people are taking into perspective how valuable their time is and how wasted time is really worse than wasted money. So with this full moon, you might have had a couple of beliefs that have been carried with you for maybe since you grew up, or maybe the last couple of years, the last couple of decades. Something might have come to light that you had to make a solid choice on. And the energy isn't over. So if you feel like you haven't gotten there yet, that's okay. It's never too late to work with this type of energy, okay? Because it really just keeps rolling on and just carrying out throughout time. The sun was in Sagittarius. So this is really illuminating our own belief systems and what we feel to be true for ourselves. So this theme around this full moon for me was really establishing that there might be two different beliefs about a topic you're wrestling with. A topic, a person, a situation, an experience, a life direction, a major choice might be in your life. And there's two beliefs. There's like two ways that you could go about it because the North Node is still in Gemini and the full moon was in Gemini, okay? So the full moon was really illuminating two different choices for you. And there's only one truth. So there's only one path that you can walk, and neither is wrong. Neither choice is wrong. It's just going to alter your next destination on your flight path, So definitely big energy. It's not over. The year isn't over. And the nodes haven't shifted yet into Taurus and Scorpio. So I do imagine that whatever path you're now choosing to walk will be solidified when we have the nodal shift in mid-January. And all this energy is being supported by Venus. Venus is making a lot of lovely aspects under this full moon, even though we are in her retrograde period now, and we've already experienced one of the Venus-Pluto conjunctions that is at the beginning of this Venus retrograde cycle. There's still a lot of trines and sextiles, and I'll pull the chart up and we'll look at it. But overall, Venus is softening these things up for us, I do believe. And it's okay if you want to take the next couple of months to think about this choice. It's better to wait and to not rush any type of decision, right? So I really do believe, though, with this energy coming through, that there will be one truth that will come through for you. And, we'll see this in collective levels on bigger scales. We might see secrets coming out, family drama coming out, or, things that we didn't know. And we might have to make a choice as a society, but also this is reflected in people's personal lives. So I'm just going to pull the chart up so we can talk more. Okay, so down at the bottom, of course, with any full moon, it's when the moon is opposing the sun. That's why the moon gets illuminated fully in her brightest. And you're going to want to know where 27 degrees of Sagittarius is in your chart. You're going to want to take in the house that Sagittarius rules, where Jupiter is in your chart. Okay, this is a symbol for Jupiter over here. And you're also going to want to know where 27 degrees of Gemini is. And I also want you to look at 1 degrees up until like 4 degrees, even with the 1 degrees of the Gemini North Node. Okay, these houses are important. There is a repeating theme in this chart with the choices that we're making, and they're based on the beliefs that we're telling ourselves, okay? So the house that has Sagittarius on the cusp, you know, the sun transiting through there might have been highlighting some type of deal that's already been working on, some type of belief through this house that it's nothing new. It's actually started about 6 months ago. There might have been a choice that you made then, and now that choice is being illuminated, right? You get a full picture of maybe a choice that you made 6 months ago, and now you're looking at it again. And, you know, it's like you get another fork in the road, you know, with a big headlight in the middle. And it's like, well, this is where that choice got you up until now. How do you look now standing under this light? And, you know, if you go this way, you get this. If you go that way, you get that. You know, but you can't have both, right? There's something that needs to be let go with this energy, because we still have the South Node in Sagittarius down here conjunct Mars. So, you know, Mars is our action planet. It's our will, it's our desire, right? But it wants us to physically do something. So it wants us to physically take action towards releasing one of those beliefs, okay? Some type of philosophy you might even have going on in your life, or the way that you view relationships, for instance, because the transit with Venus has been so strong, okay? So you also want to know then, okay, where am I getting my beliefs from, right? Where are those beliefs coming from, to help you dig into this energy more and figure out, you know, what does this full moon want me to release? Well, your beliefs are often established on your personal values and the way that you have a relationship with yourself, right? So Venus in her retrograde with Pluto down here at Capricorn, you're going to want to look at the degrees between 11 degrees Capricorn and 26 degrees Capricorn, because Venus's retrograde cycle is going through those degrees. So if you have personal planets in that area of your chart, those are getting activated greatly. You know, if your sun's in there, your natal Venus is there, Mercury, your moon. Okay, these themes are even bigger for you, you know. So those of you with even strong Sagittarius placements or strong Gemini placements, or if they're in really powerful houses like the relationship house, for instance, you know, all these themes could be coming into big picture for you now. We are approaching the last Saturn-Uranus square of the year on December 24th, and Venus is going to be conjunct Pluto and in retrograde, and we're going to have a big release of something that is the last thing to let go. It's the last one of the year. You know, in the beginning of the year, the cardinal people were really affected. In the middle of the year, the mutable people, and now the fixed people, which makes sense because the fixed signs hold on the longest and the strongest, you know, that tenacity, that grip right there. Something's got to go. Something has to be released for you to prepare and get ready for this nodal shift that's about to come when we hit the Scorpio and Taurus axis. You know, so there is a video on my channel that's up about the Venus retrograde cycle, and I do plan on doing an updated one, you know, just to check in with everybody mid cycle. So that'd be like late January or February, because it's quite a long retrograde. But I really encourage you to start reflecting on your own value and self-worth. Okay, and how do you show up in your partnerships and your relationships? And that can cover everything from your coworkers to, you know, your best friends, your acquaintances, your significant others, you know, on all fronts. But ultimately, all of these relationships are giving you a direct reflection of yourself. They're mirroring to you back in some type of way, where you get to take a deeper look inside the depths of your own inner being. So, Pluto, when Venus makes her conjunctions to Pluto, she is softening this kind of energy, but she's also bringing a light and a harmony to perhaps some of the shadow qualities that we still are carrying within ourselves. So this, when I always talk about Pluto or the Scorpio archetype, or the 8th house, to me, it's really feels like an energetic upgrade, because it's a chance to pull out something that's underneath us, that's unconscious, and bring it into the surface and label it, which is what Gemini wants us to do. Give it a name, acknowledge it, so that you can heal it and uncover it. Carl Jung, one of his famous quotes is, shoot, what is it? Until it's right on my desk. It's right here. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And I mean, I love his quote because it's so powerful. Everything that is hidden underneath us that we're not aware of, we can often be projecting it or blaming it for other people. But it's really a time to take responsibility for how you value and you treat yourself, and you show up and treat other people, because how you talk to yourself on the inside is going to be a reflection of how you treat others. And that's going to be, that energy will be reflected back to you. So if you want to have really happy, positive, good feeling relationships and situations in your life, it's a good time to look at yourself and acknowledge where you might not be wholeheartedly loving yourself. Acknowledge that and bring those pains and traumas to the surface, as painful as it might be. Once you get through that emotional unconditioning, you have less baggage that you're carrying around underneath you. And the Capricorn archetype will take this type of emotional maturity that you will go through and crystallize it into a belief system, right? So this is why Venus and Pluto and her whole cycle is really backing up this full moon, this ability to illuminate on our beliefs and look at it and make a choice, and have that choice illuminated, both of them, and make one, and make that your truth, make that your one truth. And the repeating themes are all over the chart. We have the sun at 27 degrees Sagittarius making that sextile to Jupiter right here, okay, at 28 degrees Aquarius. So Jupiter is really like pulling up these beliefs into Aquarius land, where we can take a higher picture, a higher perspective of it, and break it down and figure out what is going on, because Aquarius looks at things in a very systematic way, and it detaches itself emotionally, which is not a bad thing all the time. Sometimes we can't be so emotionally in the water. We have to, let the air qualities, let the air elements in the zodiac take us away from it, and be able to, to communicate it away from our emotional body, so that we can look at things from a different perspective, and that sextile is really supportive. And then Jupiter, so it's like the sun's energy gives that sextile to Jupiter, which also trines that full moon up there. And with the trine, there's a flow and a support for the illumination of those objective thoughts, ideas, perspectives that you're able to detach from your emotional self right now. Okay, because all this energy is really going to crystallize within you for quite a while. Venus's cycle goes in 4 years and 8 years. So what's going on now and what's crystallizing now, and solidifying as a foundation for your value and self-worth and relationship and money, for instance, all these Venus quality and themes, is really getting a new foundation built. The structures have been crumbling down 2020 and 2021, and now it's time to lay a new foundation to build upon. Okay, and then in 4 years you'll have a relook at this in a full moon type of way, and then in 8 years you'll have a new moon energy again. And I say this because Venus is going to go cazimi with the sun. That means she's conjunct the sun, so she gets like a new moon type of energy. mid to late January. Okay. And we'll get there when that time comes. So it's definitely yin as well. I feel it's a time to really go within and look at the inner work that can be done. Okay. And to help you even think about how your choices could be looked at, like how you can navigate and figure out, okay, what choices am I looking at? What does this mean for me in my chart? Well, Venus also, during this full moon, made a square to Eris. And Eris is the goddess of discord and strife. And she just often provokes or triggers something in people that she doesn't necessarily mean to, although in the myth she does, which, you know, is a different story than the archetype. You know, we always want to look to the myth, where she was basically the god, one of the goddesses on Mountain Olympus, and she was the only goddess that was left out of the party, a big party that all of them were hosting. She's the only one not invited. So basically she comes to the party anyway, and she wants to start a fight, and she throws an apple in between Aphrodite, Athena, and I think Hera. I think Hera was the third one, but don't quote me on this. And she says, whoever is the fairest of you gets the apple. And she knew what she was doing. She knew that she was provoking an argument between these three very powerful goddesses. And then they end up going to Zeus because they couldn't decide. And then ultimately this whole argument leads to the Trojan War, which I won't get into this whole story because it's quite long. I'll do an Eris video at some point. But she ultimately starts the big Trojan War because she wasn't invited to the party and, you know, threw the apple. So Eris can be that. Eris can start a war. And I happen to have her directly conjunct my sun. So this can happen in my life all the time where I trigger other people unconsciously. I don't know that I'm doing it, because what Eris does in the chart is she reveals something to you that you need to take responsibility for and to look at. So Venus forming this square to Eris, there was a tension. There could be an tension between you and another person. And it doesn't necessarily have to be warlike energy, but it could have even been something really subtle where somebody just said something and it provoked a feeling within you, some type of trigger. And it doesn't have to be a negative trigger. It can just be something that made you think about your own choices and the way that you've been making your own choices. Okay. It's honestly a healthy trigger. So if there was a situation, for instance, that like happened, that could illuminate to you the beliefs that you're holding for yourself, your values and your self-worth. And then you have two choices ahead of you on how to heal that, for instance. Okay. But also Venus in this chart, she's making a trine. She's making an out of sign by degree trine to Ceres and the North Node. So she wants you to look, Venus wants you to reevaluate yourself. She wants you to upgrade, energetically upgrade. That's why she's marrying Pluto around your self-worth. And with this trine to Ceres in the chart, when we have a trine to her, it's about creation and it's about nurturing, okay? And it's about that motherly quality that we can give ourselves. So that's the type of energy that this new upgrade can do for you, okay? It can nurture you in a new light and in a new way. It can teach you how to parent yourself in a new way. And it's also forming that trine to the North Node. So it's supportive either way. Any type of upgrade you're doing throughout this full moon, this illumination, this new choice that you're making is supportive towards your North Node path, you know, that you're headed on. And collectively as well. But collectively, I feel like we will see a split and divide because there's going to be bigger choices that are going on in the collective where we'll have a black or white, and there will be a split in humanity. Okay. But individually as well, this can happen to us on a personal level, on an emotional level, an intellectual level. Okay. You kind of get the idea. All right, let's see. All right. So those are really the major aspects I wanted to talk about, because I do feel like that sums up the energy. And I do believe that this is an incredible full moon for us to close out the year. You know, we're really closing out 2021 with a choice and a new way that we can head into 2022. Focus definitely on your dreams. Use your dreams as a way that your inner being or your higher self is trying to communicate with you, okay? And you don't have to be a dream expert, but try to get into this habit of like recording them or writing them down, because you can often uncover a lot of the subconscious self that is trying to communicate with you through the dream world. And it is a way to communicate with your own inner being. You know, often a lot of people want to do meditation. I highly encourage that through this Venus retrograde cycle. I don't, I think it's more of a reflective time, and not taking any action on like big purchases or big relationship choices. You know, unless you have Venus retrograde in your chart, then, you know, there's always a give and take, and it really depends on what's going on in the individual's personal chart. So this is why these videos are a overall horoscope for everybody, an overall energetic reading, and not everything will resonate, but some bits and pieces might and some might not, you know, because I really take into account the whole chart and I'm picking up different areas and pieces. Okay, so some people will feel certain parts of the video or any of my videos more strongly than others. Okay, and definitely a time to just start communicating to yourself, journaling to yourself. Another new way that people do, I also do, is sometimes I record myself talking to myself. It's like video diaries that I can go back to and reflect on. It's a good way to track where you're going, where you're headed, and also stuff that comes up during retrograde cycles. You might be rethinking and reevaluating and feel completely different once she stations to go direct again. It makes that last conjunction with Pluto and really solidifies any new progress that you've been doing and working on. Okay, so everybody, you can always book a reading with me at www.astroroots.com, or you can find me on Instagram at The Scenic Route Astrology. I do have my own app now, yay. So if you don't want a reading yet, you can actually register. I will put the link down in the bio, but you can register for free through my app, and then you can start getting updates on videos, on, you know, messages I'm going to put out, newsletters I'm going to put out, and just discounts, birthday discounts, things like that. So I'm really excited about the app that's rolling out for the new year. It's going to be awesome. And everybody, like always, leave me a comment, please like and subscribe my video. I appreciate everybody who's been doing it already and been helping me grow my channel. We are over 100 subscribers, so I am just really excited about that. I think we're going to grow. I really do. I believe we are going to grow, and that is my one truth. So we are. But anyways, please leave me a comment. I love your comments. I get so excited to read comments and answer and reply to you. So I wish you the best rest of the new year. I'm actually going to be back before the end of the year, so don't worry, because I have a couple more videos that I need to put out before these other transits coming up. So anyway, I appreciate you being here. Please, again, like and subscribe, and I will be back for the next video. Okay, take care. Bye. Ciao.